There's no easy way to talk about this, so I'm just gonna talk about it. Sometimes I get spirit contacts. Sometimes. I know it's a spirit contact because this ear rings and this ear pops. And I know it's otherworldly because I am clairsentient. I just know things that I shouldn't know, that I have no basis of knowing. And sometimes I know things and I get voices in my head. And you might say I'm schizophrenic, but it happens very rarely when I'm connected with the people. Sometimes it happens, and I tell the people, go away. I don't want to talk to you. I can't help you. And some people, human spirits, are very persistent and always want to engage me. And it's taken up to 5, 6 weeks to get them to understand that no, I don't want to talk to you. I don't talk to human spirits. I refuse to. That's not my deal. My deal is when an animal passes on, sometimes that animal spirit, and it's a lot more vague, and I can always tell an animal spirit versus a human spirit based on the energy. When an animal spirit comes to me, I try to help them understand any confusion they might have in passing and how to go on. And it's very simple clearing up the confusion. Hey, you've passed. Hey, yes, I'm sorry this happened. But they don't hold grudges. They don't stick around. They don't want to stick around. They're very happy to pass on once any basic confusion about the method or situation they've passed on and is cleared up. And humans are a whole different thing. They have demands. They have things they want you to tell loved ones. I'm not into that. I don't want to be the crazy lady who talks to fucking humans first. I'm not into that. All I'm into is, and all I ever want to be known for is, and I don't even want to be known for this. I just do it out of the goodness of my heart. Is talking to animal spirits, animals that I've had connections with in life that have passed on, and um, I talk to them a little bit and help them go on their way. And I feel that's fair, and I'm very happy to do that. But I don't. I've had human spirits hound me. It doesn't make me happy, and I don't like that. I don't talk to human spirits. I tell them to go away every time. Some of them listen, some of them don't. It can be hard. And I'm sure this sounds super crazy. I'm not schizophrenic. Definitely not schizophrenic. I'm on meds for depression and anxiety, but I'm multiple people have talked to me. I'm not schizophrenic, and professionals. And sometimes I get these spirit contacts, and I know it's crazy. I know people don't want to believe, but I do. And I feel like spirits only contact you right after death. That's when they have the most energy to do so. After, hauntings are very rare. After a week, the spirit's energy is dissipated, they've moved on, so that they don't bother you again. So, like, if I have an animal that I've been close to in my family or extended friends that's passed on that comes to me, it comes to me the same night it's passed on, and then its energy dissipates and it goes to whatever's next. I don't get hounded by animal spirits, and I don't ever have trouble helping them. I just have to help them understand they've passed from this life and there's something else. I don't know what else. Just that there's something else that they should go towards and not linger. And every single one that has come to me, and not all of the animals I've known that have passed have, but some have. Some have passed suddenly with a lot of confusion, and um, I just, you've passed, your life is over. There's something else, I don't know what, but you should head towards that if you see something other than here. And they do, and they go, and it's fine. They figure it out. Like, this is how spirit contact goes with me. Humans, I don't want to get into that. I consistently refuse their contact. But this is me. This is my craziness. Some would say I'm blasphemous, I'm a Christian, I'm whatever, but I have actual physical symptoms. This ear rings, this ear pops when I'm having spirit contact. And it's very insane and intense for a few minutes and then it passes. But I've even had a spirit contacts where I, multiple where I didn't even know the animal had passed. One special, very strong spirit, Sophie, she was horribly abused the first 2 years of her life, and my parents got her, and I spent 9 months bathing her daily to get rid of her mange, bacterial and fungal infections, and they were medicating her daily and special food and all these things. And when she passed of a seizure, um, I was in a drunken stupor. I'd been drinking all night, and I woke up to this blinding light in my bedroom. My lamps were off, and had a conversation that I don't exactly remember, but I thought it was my girlfriend at the time coming back and arguing with me, and I asked her not to leave. And I guess I asked Spirit not to leave, but they had to. And then the next morning, I woke up with clarity about what had happened, and I talked to my partner, and she was like, "That never happened. I went to work. I never came back to your house." And at that point, I knew. I knew exactly which animal had passed at my parents' house. So sure enough, 7 a.m. rolls around. My mom knocks on my door and comes in with McDonald's to try to gently break the news to me that this amazing animal had passed. And I look at her and I'm like, "Sophie's gone, isn't she?" And she just starts bawling and couldn't believe that I already knew. But I knew because Sophie visited me and had a conversation with me. I didn't understand at the time, but when I woke up, I got some clarity about what had happened. And Sophie was such a bright, beautiful being that it couldn't have been any other spirit in my life at the time that had visited me other than Sophie's. And yeah, so that was really crazy. A lot of people, even my mom, have wanted to believe me. They call me neurotic for I always know when my pets are going to die. Call it intuition, call it my subconscious has been trained after having an animal rescue, working in animal rescue, working at the animal shelter. Um, I know the telltale signs that an animal is going downhill subconsciously, if not consciously. When my animals were all in my room, I could just wake up and know what cage, what animal was struggling and might need meds or help or supplemental feeding because um, I would just wake up knowing these things because my subconscious absorbed it while I was sleeping. I would just wake up knowing what I needed to do in the morning for these animals. And, you know, I can liken it to I'm a woman and mothers. I mean, tell me as a mother, anybody who's a mother viewing this, that you haven't just woken up and known something was off with one of your kids, or just had a moment known your kid needed you. It's the same with me, except I don't have human children. I have bonded fundamentally for the rest of my life with animals, and that is my choice. And I use those same motherly skills for them. And there's stories about mothers lifting cars they could not possibly physically lift off their children to save their lives. Well, I have taken that route, but with the dedication to animals. So my mind has taken that serious, and sometimes I just know. I just know things that I shouldn't know, and sometimes I get spirit contact because I have tuned in so much to the animal world in my life that I just know things I shouldn't know. And it's hard to accept, and it's hard to understand. I know normal human beings who are not pet people, who are not animal people, even pet people, like they want to know their animals, but when you're living it every day for your entire life and your pets are your only friends and allies in a household and they're abused as much as you are, and that's it, like, you understand your lot in life is just the same as theirs, and you grow up understanding that and trying to advocate for them. So hopefully your parents will hopefully understand that you're not just advocating for the animals, you're advocating for yourself and fair treatment for yourself too. And if they would maybe just maybe fucking get a little bit of it. Like, this is how I grew up, and it wasn't right, but it was what it was, and it's given me some amazing gifts that I am very grateful for, and I will never not be an animal person, but you know, believe me if you want to believe me if you don't, but there's a lot about human beings and the mind and spirituality that still is yet to be explained. Call me heathen, I happily accept the term heathen. I don't give a shit, but yeah, there is a spirit world. We all interact with it, and some of us choose to ignore it, and some of us don't. And some of us are open to it, and the people who choose to ignore it and close their minds want to call us ignorant and delusional. I don't think I'm delusional. I don't choose these contacts when they happen, what happens, what I've learned. Um, and good God, I'd welcome them to stop. I'd welcome not knowing anymore. So, if you want to say I'm doing this for attention, I'm posting this for awareness in case somebody else has experienced this and is thinking they're fucking schizophrenic and need help. No, it's not always that. If you have certain signs and symptoms and you're hearing things in your head, knowing things, or hearing voices, or seeing things, sometimes, yes, it is mental illness and chemical imbalance. But sometimes, yes, it is also spirit contact. And no, most pastors, priests, whatever, do not have the adequate knowledge and language to deal with this. I feel like humanity has abandoned this idea that the individual can be in contact with the spirit, and it's and only the upper ups in the church can. No, sometimes the universe picks normal people to contact with extraordinary things. I'm a normal person, and sometimes I hear things and see things and know things that I should not, and it's very hard to admit that because I don't want to be weird, I don't want to be different, and that's fundamentally why I tell every human, I can tell the difference between an animal and a human contact. It's fundamentally why I tell every human contact I've ever had to leave me alone. I don't want to be the crazy lady who talks to humans. I don't want to be a crazy lady who talks to animal spirits either, but the animal spirits are so much easier to deal with than the human ones, and it's like, no. I'm only making a video about this in hopes that it might help convince somebody not to go on hardcore meds that will harm them in the long term, because you're not always crazy. Sometimes you are. So if you think you're Jesus, like, maybe you might be fucking crazy. Maybe you need the meds, maybe you need therapy. But sometimes I don't think I'm Jesus. I don't think I'm nobody special. And I just have a sensitivity because I've inadvertently trained that sensitivity in my whole fucking life. And I think some other people do too, and they don't want to admit it, but you're not crazy. Sometimes people are very sensitive to certain energies, and it's okay. That's all I got to say, okay?